I've spent the last 5 years, and let's be honest, a questionable amount of my life testing AI prompts. I've personally written, tested, and cataloged 100,000 of them. My first prompts were awful, but I was optimistic. I kept thinking that there just had to be a better way. There are 8 core prompt types that actually work. These prompts do 99% of the heavy lift. Let's start with the one that gives AI a much needed ego boost. This is the super role prompt. Now, you've probably heard the advice, it's pretty standard, to assign a role to AI. For example, you might have heard that you can assign AI a role like you are a blogging expert or a writing expert, and that's good advice. But there's a way to make it better. For beginners, this is one of the easiest ways to get a massive jump in quality. We're not aiming for just okay. We want great. Instead of saying that you're an expert writer, you can say you're the single greatest best-selling author that's ever existed. The super role prompt doesn't just assign expertise, it assigns legendary status. You are the best in the universe. You are a genius. You are a Pulitzer Prize winning historian or novelist, not just a good writer. In a lot of ways, you're just hyping up the AI before you even start. And because AI is often a prediction machine, you're anchoring its predictions at a much higher level of quality. It sounds silly, but it actually works. Okay, but what happens when your genius AI gives you a draft that's not so genius? You can use recursive iteration. This is probably the single best prompt for refining a first draft. You simply say, make it 10 times better or 20 times more persuasive or 10 times more concise. You can keep going with this too. Sometimes the third or fourth iteration is the best outcome. Sometimes that's when the magic actually starts to happen. Now, a quick tip. Sometimes it gets worse. Sometimes 10 times better ends up being just 10 times longer. And if that happens, just go back to the previous version and ask for it to regenerate another option. You can say something like, go back to the previous version, but this time focus on more authentic dialogue or action or more showing versus summarizing. Now, this isn't perfect, but it's been such a huge time saver for me in my AI writing. Next up is the informed prompt. This might be my favorite tip for beginners. The hard truth is, the more you know about a subject, the better you'll be able to prompt. When I'm asking for a story, I don't just ask the AI to write me a good premise. No, instead, I want the AI to give me a premise that includes all of the elements that I believe make up a best-selling novel or premise. I'm talking about motivated characters, internal and external conflict, a crucible setting that traps the characters inside the story so they can't easily walk away, a ticking clock mechanism for more tension, big emotional and personal and story world consequences. I've spent over 20 years dissecting and reverse engineering what makes a good story. I put that information into my prompts. What do you do if you haven't spent the last 20 years studying storytelling? What if you want a prompt about something that you don't really know? Here's the trick. You ask it to teach you. Almost all AI platforms now, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, they have a deep research function. And this is the point where I want you to use that function. You can ask, what are the key sections of a nonfiction proposal? Or what are the elements that go into a modern day commercially successful bestseller? The AI is going to go off and do its deep research thing and bring back to you a blueprint. Then all you have to do is just copy those elements and insert them into your prompt. You can say, turn this vague idea into a premise for a best-selling novel using all of these elements that you have found from that research. Essentially, you use AI to do the research, and then you use that research to build the perfect prompt. It's a beautiful system. You can actually even ask AI to use that research to create the prompt for you. All right, number 4 is the advanced prompt, or at least that's what I call it. This one has been a lifesaver for me. Sometimes you're just sick of the same 3 pieces of advice or the same generic story. You can ask for something more advanced. For example, maybe you're writing a nonfiction book. You can say, give me 10 advanced strategies for, insert the topic. Do not include any generic or obvious tips. And you can even give examples of those tips that you know, because hopefully you have some experience with what you want AI to write your book about. If you don't, ask AI to research it for you so you know a little bit about it. Then you'll know what the generic advice is. That's the advice that everybody gives in every other book. But you don't want to write just any book. You want to write the best book on the topic to help the most amount of people. By telling AI to avoid the obvious and generic, you force it to search for non-generic, high-level tactics or information or structures or outlines or character backstory. It's a great way to find hidden gems. Now, this next one I call the micro prompt, and it seems to contradict everything I've already said. I know I just told you to be super informed and detailed, I'll admit that. But sometimes you still get stuck, or the AI gets stuck. Your prompts are too complex and the AI just gets confused and the output isn't there. It's not what you want. When that happens, just go simple, really simple. The key here is go as simple as possible, but as complex as necessary. You want to delete almost everything because most of it probably you don't need. Instead of a 2,000 word prompt, just say, write a tagline for a coffee shop and include one or two most important elements. By shrinking the prompt, you give the AI creative freedom, but you still give it a little bit of constraints. You still say maybe it's a coffee shop with this vibe, or a coffee shop in this city, or a coffee shop with this mission. You want to shrink the prompt down as small as possible. It's going to be compressed like a poem. A poem is impactful and it has a lot of meaning, but it's concise. You can even ask the AI of your choice to take your big, long, complex prompt and condense it down to its most essential element. You don't want to leave anything out important, but you do want to simplify. This is a great reset button when either you or the AI is overthinking your prompt. The next prompt I want to talk about is the negative prompt. This is all about adding guardrails or constraints to your prompt. You definitely want to tell your AI what you want it to do, but you also want to tell it, just as importantly, what you don't want it to do. I, for one, hate those horizontal dividing lines. ChatGPT in particular seems to love to put into my writing. I don't know why it likes it so much. It's a weird tick. I have asked ChatGPT to stop doing that so many times, and it just will keep doing it. I also hate when it uses overly flowery, I just swallowed a thesaurus words. So I just add to my prompt something like, do not use horizontal lines. Do not use overly flowery words or complex words. Instead, use simple, direct language or whatever it is that you want it to do and don't want it to do. Many times when I'm trying to have AI write a story for me, it'll go into a lot of summarization and narration instead of actually showing what's happening beat by beat. AI sometimes will just fly over all of that. And I'll need to ask AI, do not summarize any important conflict scene or rewrite this scene, and do not use narration or summary. You can say, don't want short chapters, don't want a complex answer. All of this cleans up the output before you've even generated anything. It saves a ton in editing. Next, let's talk about verbalized sampling. This is one that I've heard a couple other people talk about on YouTube. I think it's really helpful. The gist of this prompt technique is to ask the AI to generate several different options for you, but not just any options. You want, for example, 5 different possibilities, and each of those options should include the text and a numeric probability. Now, I'm not going to go into all the research behind that because honestly, some of it's over my head. But what you probably need to know is this prompt technique forces the AI to sample from the full range of its training and the full range of possibilities, not just the safest, most boring, neutral one. For example, if you are writing an action scene where there's a big fight, you could say, give me 5 possible responses or ways to write this particular fight scene. And I'd like you to give not only the text of the scene, but also give me a numeric probability. I'll show you what I mean on the screen, and it'll probably make more sense. You can also say, please give me the least likely option for how to go about writing this scene. And that can sometimes open up a lot of different creativity for you and the AI. Now, there's a principle here. There's this divergence and convergence with the AI. You ask the AI to diverge with lots of options for whatever you're trying to do, create a premise, an outline, write a scene, and then you ask that same AI to take those options and pick the best one, or take different parts of the different options it gave you and pick those best parts and create a new super scene, if you will. I like this concept so much that I'm probably going to make a video just about how you can use it because it's very flexible, very versatile. The next prompt technique I want to talk about is called the Rivalry Prompt. In other words, with this technique, you're going to actually get the AIs to compete with each other. It sounds silly again, but again, it works. The first step is to get a response from one AI, let's say ChatGPT, And then you take that response and you feed it into another AI, let's say Gemini, and you tell Gemini, ChatGPT gave this response, and I want you to do better. So again, you get a response from one model, and then you paste it into another model. Your prompt can be, this is okay, but I know you can do better, or I want you to do 10 times better, or I want you to analyze the weaknesses of this particular response. Tell me what those weaknesses are, and then create a new response, maybe a new scene or a new outline or a new character bio, and I want you to fix and resolve all those weaknesses and give me a better response. Seriously, a little digital trash talk can go a long way. It works shockingly well. Those are the 8 prompts that are the result of a lot of testing. The cool thing is you can even combine these prompts. Start with a super role and an informed prompt. Use negative prompts to guide it. Use recursive iteration to refine it. And use rivalry prompts to perfect it. This is essentially the system I use to write almost everything, from premises and outlines to full scenes that become full novels. These prompts have genuinely changed my workflow, and I'm cautiously optimistic that they will for you too. Now, to make this even easier for you, I put all of these 8 prompts with copy and paste examples into a simple PDF for you to download. You'll find the link at the top of the video description and in the pinned comment. I hope you go get those prompts and try them out. I'm really curious to see what you build.